Your habits are a vote in you becoming the person you want to be.
And I just saw with him, and actually most clients I have who have done extraordinary things, is that they're just willing to do that little bit more.
I don't think that these billionaires had 5-hour-long morning routines on the way to building their empire. I'm choosing to pick routines and habits that feel authentically good to me. Welcome to Vortex Vision, the show where you are the star, and I'm your host, Gala Darling. In this episode, we are talking about the secret routines of the rich and famous, because who doesn't want to know that? I don't know about you, but anytime I see someone's like 3 million hour morning routine on YouTube, I have to watch it. I'm obsessed. But the thing is that sometimes we see those things and make ourselves wrong for not doing it all. And in this episode, we're gonna completely dismantle that and help you build a morning routine that actually, genuinely feels good to you and helps you be the best version of yourself. In this episode, we're gonna talk to a breathwork practitioner who's gonna tell us the secrets of a very famous YouTuber and how they run their morning, which I think you're gonna really enjoy. We're also going to talk to our astrological correspondent about how you can use your astrology to build morning routines that really work for you and your unique constitution. I'm gonna answer some questions from the audience on the High Vibe hotline. And finally, we're gonna do some tapping where I'm gonna make it really easy for you to create routines that really feel good to you. I feel like a place where we get really tripped up with habits and routines is this feeling that we need to be consistent every single day. Like no matter what's going on, no matter what's happening with your family or your work or your health, you have to stick doggedly to this morning routine. And the truth is that's just not realistic for most people. And what I have personally found in my life is that having a routine that is held lightly and loosely actually is much more supportive for me personally. When I was about 22 years old, I discovered tapping for the first time, and it really changed my life. I was in a very bad place. You can't tell from my outfits these days, but I was deeply goth and I was deeply miserable. And tapping for me was like that moment in The Wizard of Oz where Dorothy walks out of her black and white world into the Technicolor world. And when I started tapping, it changed my view of life so much that I really felt like I had to make up for lost time. So hence the pink, you know what I'm saying? But what I've found is that sometimes we find a tool that we like. It works for us, right? It could be meditation, breath work, morning pages, miracle miles, whatever. And we use it for a little while and then we just kind of get bored. We get distracted. Maybe we watch somebody else's morning routine video and we're like, I'm gonna try cold plunging. And we really cast aside that thing that was actually working for us really well. So what I've found, even though I have experimented with many different routines and habits over the years, is that I always come back to tapping. And what I would really encourage is if you find something that works for you, go deep into that rather than going wide and being kind of a jack of all trades. Try to really master the one that works for you, because there will be something that works for you. And like I said, in this episode, you're gonna get a lot of ideas, things that you can try. But then I plead with you, when you find something you like and that is helping you transform your life, go deep. Thank you so much for being here. Now let's get into this episode.
Hi everyone, I'm Colin Bedell and I'm the resident astrologer of Vortex Vision. And I'm here to talk to you about your habits. Now before you X out because habits are considered unsexy, stay with me here because it turns out that according to James Clear's work in Atomic Habits, your habits are a vote in you becoming the person you want to be. So as a practicing astrologer for about 8 years, I've noticed that there seems to be particular patterns associated with what's called the modalities in astrology and how they have particular philosophies on habits. So why are we talking about habits? Once again, because when you're really clear about why habits are essential and you really are committed but not captive by them, you will notice small changes cumulatively over time and you will, I would argue, step into the life you've always dreamt of living into. Now, the 3 modalities in astrology are called cardinal, fixed, and mutable. And frankly, this is actually my favorite grouping when considering the ideas on each particular zodiac sign. Now, the 4 cardinal signs are Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn, and they're the cardinal signs because they initiate a season. So if you were born during one of those 4 seasons, you were born at the beginning of a particular season. And so when thinking about how the cardinal signs experience habits, what's incredibly important to remember is that sometimes it is difficult for the cardinal signs to implement habits because there's so much energy. They're just so excited by the possibility of new possibilities because it's the beginning of something and they don't even know where to start. They just like it all, right? And hey, we love that. That's a strength. But in helping you maximize your habit formation, I want you to be very clear, cardinal signs, Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn, about minimizing the likelihood of environmental distractions. So in thinking about your habits, it's incredibly imperative that you look at your environment and ask yourself, is it supporting my habits, right? So maybe you could even make sure that certain notifications are minimized on your phone, or you can have a particular corner of your living space that doesn't allow for technological and social interruptions. Because it turns out that your environment is absolutely consequential to the likelihood of you sustaining and implementing your habits. Now, the fixed signs are Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. And they're the fixed signs because if you are one, you were born at the peak of a season, the magnum opus of a particular zodiac season. And so astrologers argue, myself included, that the fixed signs are systemic thinkers. What do I mean by that? That they love systems. They absolutely love ensuring that they have particular organized methodologies that cultivate whatever it is that they want to experience in their well-being. So whenever I'm talking to a Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, or Aquarius around their habits, I ask them, well, what's one that you can make that feels like it's compounding? In other words, are you choosing a habit that cultivates mind wellness, emotional health, somatic healing, and spiritual development? There's the habit right there. So what you'd want to think about if you're a Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, or Aquarius is asking yourself, what's the system? What's the methodology? What's the process? Fixed signs really love a certain level of pre-established expertise. So if you are one of the 4 fixed signs, you may want to think about, has a particular person who you really admire already developed a habit formation system? And the reason why it's really essential for you to think about systems is because in James Clear's work, Atomic Habits, who's really wrote the literal book on making sure that we all have healthier relationships to habits, he argues about habit compounding. So what that means is that if you start with one thing, i.e. say your physical wellness, all of a sudden you'll go, okay, that wasn't so bad. Maybe I'll meditate too. And then all of a sudden you went from physical habits, i.e. working out, to now you're meditating 10 minutes a day. And then you said, all right, that also wasn't too bad. Is there maybe some spiritual activity that I can engage in as well? Because we are spiritual beings having a human experience. So I would love for you to really commit, but not be captive by a mind, body, somatic, and spiritual system that helps you incorporate your habits on a consistent and concrete basis. Now, I'm sure if you're a mutable sign, Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, or Pisces, as soon as you heard me discuss habits, you were the first one ready to X out of here, so I'm really proud of you for staying. And the reason why that I am is because I think when it comes to the mutable signs, we can be very, anti-routine, anti-system, we want our freedom, don't bother us, right? And I'm right there with you. I actually am a Gemini stellium, so I'm talking to me as well. And what I want to encourage is an idea known as small goals only. So if you are a Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, or Pisces, it's incredibly important that when it comes to your habit formation, you're crawling before you're sprinting and you're not doing too much, too fast, too far, too soon. There's real wisdom in mastering the fundamentals first. Now, when I say small goals only, I guarantee you that you're not thinking quite small enough, size queens, okay? Because when I mean small goals, I mean, turns out that there was an Olympian who actually started working out only 3 times a week for 5 minutes at a time. That was in James Clear's work. That's what I mean by small goals only. Because once you start to develop a history through repetitive action of you saying, okay, turns out I really did need to drink more water. And I did it once a week. That wasn't too bad. Now I'm going to drink a bottle of water as opposed to just a quick little sip here and there. You will start to develop a level of reliability and trust in yourself when you realize that small goals only, cumulatively over time, is the most effective approach for you to implement your habits. So that concludes the astrological exploration of habit formation by the cardinal, fixed, and mutable signs. I hope it was generative for you. You can find me at colinbedell.com and on socials at Queer Cosmos. See you there.
Welcome to this amazing interview. I've already decided it's going to be amazing with my amazing friend Helle Weston. She's a fellow Kiwi, so I'm like deeply excited about it. And we're going to be talking about routines and rituals and creating habits for ourselves that really make us feel good. Helle is one half of the deeply epic Owaken Breathwork with her partner Lucas Mack. And she teaches people all over the world how to use breathwork to regulate their nervous system. It's such a powerful practice. And I'm really excited for what you have to tell me today.
I'm so excited to be here.
Oh my
Thank
gosh.
you.
Yes. So you, the reason I thought of you for this is you so often on your Instagram stories share what your morning routine looks like. And I'd love to know, because everyone is always curious, what is your usual morning routine at the moment?
I am obsessed with morning routines, and I have been for years. It's honestly the biggest event of every day.
I love that.
For me, it is, it's a highlight, such a joy. So pretty much these days I wake up, I will have my eye mask on. I love to block out the light. I wear my mouth tape. Already got some tips for you all here. Mouth tape to stop mouth breathing. So making sure that I'm breathing through my nose during my sleep to get the best sleep possible. So I'll tear off my mouth tape, I take off my eye mask, and I go and do, the human things, go and brush my teeth and all of that. And then I usually get into a meditation practice. So I love to have fresh air flowing. I'll open up, I've got a sliding door in my bedroom, and I will sit. I'll start a breathwork practice for about 5 minutes. And the goal with that is to access a non-ordinary state of consciousness. So I'm quickly, while I'm just waking up and entering into the day, I'm allowing myself to maintain theta brainwaves by going from, the quick human things straight into the breath work, slowing everything down. And then that allows me to go into a meditation practice with a whole lot more relaxation and openness to the subconscious programming.
Yeah.
So that's what I'll do first thing, is focus on my intentions for my day in my meditation and feel the emotions and see the vision of how I want the day to unfold. And if there's anything that I'm working on creating, manifestation queen right here. I work on my manifestations most days through meditating. And then,
so does that look like visualizing how you want it to go, or just seeing the picture of it? What does that look like?
Yeah, so once I'm in that deep theta brainwave state, I start to visualize and feel as though I'm in the vision. So it's like a mental rehearsal practice. And I'll see the details, I'll feel the emotions, I'll work with the things that spark the most feeling for me.
Okay.
And I might also bring in tapping. Like I love high vibe honey. Sometimes I do high vibe honey.
It makes me so happy.
Sometimes I'll do a class from my own app. Like I'll do one of Lucas's classes. I don't usually do my own.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever feel like that, where you're like,
I've never done one of my own classes.
yeah, it's not the same.
Yeah.
Like I'm thinking about how other people are going to hear that.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'll do either one of those. And then I'll go and make cacao with Lucas, my partner. And we usually sit on the couch and we do something called tuning in.
I love this so much. You're just giving us so much juice. Okay.
So yeah, we'll have our cacao, we get all cozy. And Lucas and I have been together currently for 17 years. So we're like two peas in a pod. And we're really into living a more intuitively guided life. So when we have our cacao, we will usually again do like a few breaths just to clear the space, zone in. And then I have been channeling for the past 12 years. So usually in our tune-ins, I'll start tuning into my guides and see what wants to come through for us at that particular moment. And usually it's life guidance. It could be super practical, like things that we need to focus on in our business, or emotions that are needing to be processed and acknowledged. It could be energy that needs to be cleared. It could be creative ideas.
Yeah.
So we're really open to anything. And from there, we go on a walk, our walk, every day, and get sunlight, and then work out. Yeah, we get back from our walk and do a workout and then get ready for the workday. That's it.
That's it. Like, it's no big deal.
But I've dialed that in, over the years.
Yeah.
And it's evolved.
Yeah, I love that. So if you had to just pick one piece out of the morning, like for whatever reason you were super pressed for time or something crazy happened, which one piece would you keep?
What I would do, and I would do this anytime when I'm pressed for time, is I will stack multiple habits in one. So for example, I will make a cacao. Lucas and I will go for a walk together. For part of it, I'll listen to my headphones and I'll just be in my own energy, and we'll have the cacao that we're sipping along the way.
Yeah.
And then there will come a point where I start going into deep breathing while I'm walking.
Okay.
And then I don't usually do tune-ins with Lucas while we're walking, but we'll have a really creative, inspiring conversation about what we're feeling and plans for the day.
It's amazing how walks just generate so much inspiration.
They really do.
For me, it's like being in an idea factory when I go for a walk. Like, it's unbelievable how much it changes my state of mind.
I feel the same. I can recall multiple amazing ideas that I've had while walking.
Yeah.
And I love being able to tap in with different podcasts, and then my brain is just like, yes, connecting all the dots.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm like, excuse me, take your headphones out. I have a profound idea and I need your ears.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
And I love the idea of stacking the habits when you're busy, so it's not like you're doing one after the other. You try to combine them where you can.
That's so important.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
I mean, today, for example, I had a long drive to meet you and be in this epic place.
Yeah.
So I did the same. I was in the Uber and I spent some time focusing on my breath, meditating, and then I was listening to a podcast and just in my own zone.
Yeah, perfect. And I know that when you travel, you're really good about maintaining your habits as well.
That's really important. I mean, I was on the road for over a decade. We lived pretty much out of Airbnbs.
Yeah.
And I've seen what it can be like to lose the routine and how frustrated and unoptimized I feel. Like, I know how good I can feel.
Yes.
And when I'm not consistent with the routine, I start to feel like a subpar version of myself, and it shows up in my energy, my confidence. And so having the discipline to do it even when you can't be bothered and you feel tired or jet lagged or whatever, it really pays off.
Yeah. And something I've seen you talk about a lot too on Instagram stories, because everyone's always like, tell me about your routine, is that you always say, like, if this is not doable for you right now, then just do what you can do.
Totally. And the same goes with all of the fancy biohacking stuff. Like, you know, I have a PEMF mat, I've got red light therapy, I've got an infrared sauna, cold plunge, all of that stuff, and I do use it. But it's not the primary thing that I would say makes me feel good.
Right.
They're like icing on the cake, and there's so much that you can do for free and with a short amount of time. I mean, I remember when I had a really strict schedule with a 9-to-5 job, and I would get up an hour earlier and do my stretching and meditation and all of that stuff, and it made all the difference. And I think it's actually what helped me to get out of that less than ideal situation so much sooner, because I had that foundation of me time.
Yeah, so important. What are some habits or routines that you've seen other successful people do that either you're like, that's really cool, or you've tried that maybe people haven't heard of or are not as popular?
Oh, I love this question. Okay.
Like, I'm sure you've met some people who do some wild and wacky things.
Yes, I have. Okay, I'm just thinking about it. So I lived with Jake Paul for nearly a year. And for those who don't know, Jake Paul is he was a famous YouTuber, I would say, like childhood star. And then now he is a boxer. Jake has an intense routine. So when I was living there, it was really inspiring. It actually showed me where I was being lazy, which I'm so grateful for. Jake will wake up every morning at the same time, and he will have the music dialed up so loud that
Really?
and his house is huge, and the whole house can hear it. And he'll be straight into his workout, and everything is just like a well-oiled machine. So he's incredibly good at outsourcing things that need to get done so that he can focus on his particular routine, and then he'll be doing the ice baths after his workouts or beforehand, depending on what he needs with recovery, and have his nutrition super dialed in, and he does breathwork and meditation as well. So there are a lot of the same types of things. He'll get on into oxygen therapy, hyperbaric chamber, all sorts of biohacking stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there are variations that are a little more bougie, but the main takeaway, honestly, is the discipline and the commitment to be unreasonable about it. What I saw was that as a sensitive person, I had gotten a little soft for a while there.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I'm tired. Like, I need bubble wrap around me.
Yeah.
I don't have the energy for this. And I think there's a way, like I was saying, to adapt your routines, but to still be in the pursuit of high performance and optimization. And I just saw with him, and actually most clients I have who have done extraordinary things, is that they're just willing to do that little bit more. When other people are like, no, I'm done. Like, I'm uncomfortable now.
Yeah.
They're like, well, I'm uncomfortable, but if I do another lap, then I'm a lap ahead of my competition.
Yeah.
And there is a competitiveness to it that, coming from New Zealand, I didn't have. I don't know if you feel it.
I'm not competitive at all. I'm just not wired. Even in like sport, athletic, anything, I'm just not competitive.
Neither. But then being around them, I started to appreciate healthy competition.
Yeah.
And I think, the old cliche of like, you're only competing with yourself. But sometimes it's helpful to tap into that fiery side where you're like, no, I'm not letting myself fall behind.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to be unreasonable and I'm going to go. And I was too humble to even entertain being competitive.
Interesting.
For a really long time. But yeah,
Yeah.
being around them, I was like, okay, damn, they're really competitive.
Yeah. And that can be such a beautiful thing. It really can push people to do extraordinary things.
Yeah.
When they can harness that competition energy in a really healthy way. Yeah, I love that. So, okay, talk to us about breathwork. How did you get into breathwork? How long have you been doing it?
Okay, so I started breathwork in 2016.
Okay.
And then studied in 2017 from memory. That was in Bali. And I found out about breathwork through a client of mine. I had no idea what it was. I was thinking, okay, great, yoga, meditation.
Yeah.
It's along those lines. I had no idea how powerful it was and how much it would help me to actually directly experience connection to spirit. Because as a seeker for so long, I had been used to reading books and contemplating spiritual ideas or going and seeing psychics and being told things.
Right.
But it didn't feel direct, like my hotline to the universe. So then when I started doing the breath work, I realized it's like opening the channel.
Right.
So you do your breath work, you experience a shift in your brainwave activity and how your nervous system's functioning. You can go more into a parasympathetic state through breath work, or you can also go more into a sympathetic state,
Yeah.
depending on your intention. And from there, your intuition becomes a whole lot clearer and louder. So that's one part. And then the other part, which you and I have really connected on, is the power of breath work to process emotions.
Oh my God,
to
yeah.
feel.
Yeah.
And how many of us aren't feeling?
Yes.
We're using coping mechanisms and we feel numb and we feel frustrated and we don't know how to process it. So breath work can really help.
Yeah, like a couple of years ago when I was really learning a lot about feeling my emotions and processing them, I did some amazing sessions with you that helped me move through so much stuff that were like almost like psychedelic experiences,
Right.
like deeply like whoa, trippy moments, but that helped me so much to move this heavy stuff. And I think sometimes, you know, even though I love tapping, I've been doing it for 17 years, sometimes you need a different modality to kick you into a different gear, because we can rest on the things that we're used to doing and they might not give us enough oomph for something completely new.
I agree, and I absolutely love tapping, and I see tapping as being like another pillar. So tapping is one tool that I think is essential for my practice, for yours. Breathwork's just another one. It's like apples and oranges, you know? So with the breath, one of the things that I've seen be so helpful for people is it can actually help you to access emotions and memories that have been needing acknowledgement that you didn't know were a block or an issue for you. So they can be so suppressed that you don't even know that it's what's holding you back.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how often I hear people say, I had no idea that that memory from, let's say, childhood, or that thing that happened in this job was still unprocessed, and that it was actually connected to this behavior that I've been struggling with, or why I keep attracting these types of situations. So it's like we get to go all the way down into the operating system and pluck out the weed that we didn't know was there.
Yeah.
And then I personally find tapping really good for when you know something's there and you just want to laser point and, you know, pluck it out, knock it off.
Tapping's like very directional.
Very.
And breath work is very much like, let's see what surfaces.
Right, we're going into the soup. All the way to the bottom, and let's find out what's there.
Yeah, is there a bone? Is there some carrots? Like, what do we got in here?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. So, okay, I would love for you to lead us through a really brief little breathwork session so people can just kind of get a taste of this if they've never tried it before.
I would love that. Okay, so the first thing is you can make sure that you're comfy. I know you are, but those at home or wherever we are, we're not doing this while we're driving. And if you want to, you can close down your eyes, or you can find a place to gaze that's maybe close to the floor or a wall in front of you. But the reason that we'll close down our eyes is just to focus inward. And so you can start by bringing your focus to your breathing just as it is. And I invite you to breathe in and out of your nose if you're not already. This is the ideal way to breathe in our everyday lives. And as we go through this short practice, I'll guide you every step to modify your breath. Let's start with deepening the inhale. And extending the exhale. Do a few more like this. In. Out. And let's make sure the face and the belly are both relaxed. Drop the shoulders. All right, inhaling. And now let's exhale out of the mouth. Mouth is relaxed open, and it's a soft sigh. Inhale. Going at your own pace, deep breaths. And let's increase the intensity just a little bit. So breathe even more fully on the inhale. Exhale fully. And if you've been slouching at all, this might be the time to rise tall and let that full inhale fill up your lungs. And if you notice a pause when you fill up your lungs on that inhale, so after you breathe in, there might be a pause there, just let that go and go straight into your exhale. so it becomes circular, like a wheel, fully in, and then letting it all go. Increasing the speed slightly while maintaining the depth. And now let's increase the speed just a little bit more, keeping the depth. So you want to be able to hear yourself breathing. Let's do 3 more. Exhale. 2 more. And on this last one, inhale fully. And then once you exhale, hold your breath on the empty, holding your breath for 10 seconds. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Inhale. Exhale through your mouth. And allow your breath to return to nasal breathing now, eyes still closed or focused on that point that you're gazing at. And asking yourself, what does my inner guidance want me to know right now? Maybe it's a takeaway from this conversation, something that you're feeling inspired about or you want to take action on after we complete this practice. Maybe it's something that you love about yourself, a compliment that you could offer up to yourself right now. And then when you're ready, again, feel your breath flowing. Feel your body grounded. Start to tune into the temperature of the air around you. And then bring some movement in. Maybe stretch, wriggle your fingers, your toes. And then blink open your eyes or move your gaze around the space. Notice how you feel.
Wow.
How are we feeling, Gala?
That was very special.
So quick.
So quick.
And so potent.
So potent. Like, talk about a major paradigm shift, and I don't know how long that was. That was quick.
Right. And when people hear about breathwork, they're like, okay, cool, you're going to teach me how to breathe, like groundbreaking. Yeah. But you don't know until you try it.
Yes.
And it's a resource that's really hidden in plain sight. So once you learn how to use it, you can start to use it to regulate your nervous system, your emotions, to connect more clearly to living in the vortex, baby. That's what it's all about.
That's so great. And if you enjoy that practice, there's so many Owaken practices online and in their app that you will love. But before we get into the very ending, I have 6 sexy questions to ask you.
Oh, I love this.
Okay, you ready?
I am ready.
All right. What did you want to be as a child, and how are you honoring that today?
You're taking me back. I wanted to be a shoe designer.
No way.
Yeah, I guess I'm honoring that right now with my shoes. Shout out to the shoes.
They're fabulous.
And also being a girly girl and bringing in the glamour that I love so much, and I did love as a kid. Like, I was such a little unicorn kid. And I think when I met you for the first time, I'm like, you are like my inner child's dream.
Oh, that's
seriously,
so nice.
I would have been in awe having met you. So I try to bring that in with the spirituality as well. Like, it gets to be more glam. It doesn't have to be all hemp and bare feet.
The fucking hemp pants. I can't. I can't. Please, God, give me a heel. No, I love that. That's beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. What is the name of the movie of your life?
Oh. Oh my God, this is no pressure.
I know.
Okay,
talk
I'm
about
going with
putting
the
you
first
on
one
the
that
spot.
comes up. Gentle, magical, intuitive.
Beautiful. I love that. I love that.
go.
Simple and easy. Okay. Who is on your spiritual board of directors and why?
I have a group of multi-dimensional cosmic beings on my board of directors.
Love to hear it.
Yeah, Arcturians are a key in the board, and they're guiding me in this whole life mission, this journey, and shout out to them. I'm so grateful.
These answers are great. They're just so good. Who's on your spiritual board of directors? The Arcturians. Yeah, perfect. What's your life philosophy?
Love. Yeah.
That's the best one. Uh-huh. What else is there? That's the best
And
one.
follow the magic.
Yes. That's, yeah, perfect. What's on your bucket list?
Write a book. Speak on huge stages to thousands of people, and be on my deathbed knowing when I'm about to go and feeling so ecstatically grateful and joyful and at peace. Like, it's done. Close the curtains. I'm complete.
Love that. Yeah, the sense of satisfaction.
Yeah.
Yeah. And finally, what would you like your tombstone to say?
Oh, this is good. We acknowledge Helle Weston for her contributions to humanity. And something else profound.
Can we put that on there and something else profound? Just chisel it in.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. I love your answers. They're so you.
Thank you.
They're so you.
I really want to know yours. I'll have to watch the series for that.
Okay. Yeah, good call. That was amazing. Thank you so much. And tell everybody where they can find you if they want more of you and Owaken and everything you do.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can find us at awaken.com. So that's Awaken with an O. And then you can find us on Instagram. That's where we're most active. And we're touring around the US. We usually visit Australia and New Zealand at least once a year. And we have the app. So you can find us in the App Store as well, Awaken Breathwork.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Gala. Love you.
I love you. Welcome to High Vibe Hotline, the section of the show where I answer your questions. Let's do this.
Hey Gala, I'm absolutely dying to know your routines. What do your mornings look like?
Okay, such a good question, and I know that everybody is obsessed with morning routines, like obsessed. So I'm gonna give you a little voyeuristic peek into what I do. And like I was saying earlier, I have a very inconsistent morning routine. It changes all the time. And for me, that's part of the fact that I'm a woman, I'm a hormonal creature, and how I feel every day is completely different. Some days I wake up and I'm really excited to just start working, and I make a coffee and I feed my dogs and I start working. And some days I wake up and it's gray and dreary and I'm maybe thinking something through and I'm wanting to process something, and so I do morning pages. And then many times, in fact, probably more often than not, I drink a coffee while I look through emails and texts, and then I get dressed and I leave the house and I do my miracle miles, which is like my version of a hot girl walk. And I've found that the longer the walk, the better the ideas. Like, this is really where I get all my juicy downloads, is when I go for a nice long walk in the morning. But again, I don't do any of these things consistently. They really change all the time. And you know, sometimes I wake up and I decide to go back to sleep. You know, I really hold my routines loosely because that's what works for me. And everybody's different. Some people really like to do the same thing every day, and that's totally okay if that works for you, but I just want to encourage you to play with it. Like, do different things, experiment with what makes you feel good. Like, for example, my fiance does cold plunging and sauna every morning. That sounds like hell to me. I couldn't think of anything I want to do less than immerse myself in freezing water. Like, please, God, no. So again, play with it and see what works for you. And there's really no wrong way of doing it. It's like, does this thing that I'm doing set me up to have a great day, or does it not? And it really can be as simple a question as that. Okay, next question.
How do you know what habits are actually going to lead to your long-term goals? It feels like there are so many things I could be doing in my routines to get there, but I feel overwhelmed to do them.
So there is like this myth on the internet that if you wake up at 3:30 and cold plunge and meditate and drink cacao and beat yourself with a stick, that's how you're gonna become a billionaire. And I want to disavow you of this notion right now. Because when billionaires make their morning routine videos for you, number one, are they really a billionaire? Do you really know? Like, I don't know. A lot of people talk a lot of stuff on the internet that's not necessarily true. So firstly, like, take everything with a grain of salt. But secondly, I don't think that these billionaires had 5-hour-long morning routines on the way to building their empire. I think their fabulous 5-hour routine came much later when they had a lot of freedom and a lot of grace to fuck around in the morning. I was really fortunate that when I was building my business in 2007, there wasn't any of that content about the ideal morning routine, because I think I would have been just as distracted by it as everybody is. And it's really appealing to think, oh, I can wake up and I can take 3 hours, I can take a bath, I can like have this like beautiful meditation while I stare out the window. And the reality is that most people don't have time for that. And if you're in a place where it doesn't feel good to try to cram that into your day, or you're commuting or whatever, it's literally impossible, please don't put pressure on yourself to do that. A lot of these billionaires who have these exquisite morning routines have people that read their emails, take care of their children. They don't have to commute. Maybe they Zoom into a meeting at 11:30 in the morning. So don't try to align your life with theirs right now if that's not where you are, and if trying to do so is bringing you more grief than pleasure. So obviously I'm a huge evangelist for tapping, so maybe it's time that we do some. Let's do it right now. Now let's get into some tapping. Today's tapping is about creating routines and habits that feel genuinely good to you. If you've never tapped before, all you're gonna do is copy what I do and repeat after me. And we're gonna start on the top of the head. Even though I feel like I have to do what other people do, I have to copy their routines, I have to wake up at 4 a.m., I have to cold plunge and dry brush and meditate for 3 hours, I am officially letting myself off the hook. Because what works for other people won't necessarily work for me. And especially if I don't enjoy it. If I don't enjoy it, I'm just torturing myself on a daily basis. And that will not lead me to a happy, creative life. Even though I feel like other people have figured it all out, and maybe if I just copied their system, I'd have it worked out too, I deeply and completely love and accept and forgive myself. And instead of doing what the whole internet is doing, I'm choosing to pick routines and habits that feel authentically good to me. I'm choosing to do the things that light me up. And it's okay for me to be inconsistent. It's okay to do a different thing every day. It's okay if sometimes a routine in the morning looks like a walk. And sometimes it's writing poetry. And sometimes it's talking to my friend on the phone. I'm ready to pursue habits and routines that fill me with joy, that make my life easier, not harder, and that help me come back to myself. And so it is. All right, take a deep breath in, hold it at the top, and let it go. And if you want more information on tapping, go to highvibehoney.com. Hello gorgeous, I hope that you are loving Vortex Vision so far. And if you enjoy the energy here, you're really gonna love the energy in High Vibe Honey. High Vibe Honey is the biggest and longest running EFT tapping membership in the world. For 6 years, we've been helping creative cuties, self-made entrepreneurs, stay-at-home moms, and everyone in between rewire their beliefs so that they can experience completely different lives. High Vibe Honey is designed to deliver on 3 major concepts: big love, bangin' body, and billionaire baddie. If you're looking to attract more aligned partners, love your body so much that you finally feel sexy naked, or manifest doubling your income but nothing is working, this community is for you. High Vibe Honey is actually fun, engaging, and juicy. When the work feels like play, you'll expand faster and look forward to doing it. I have 17 years of experience tapping with thousands of people around the world, which means you're getting the very best guidance, all completely focused on getting you the results you desire. High Vibe Honey's community and live sessions keep you accountable. We don't just leave you to it. Our infamous live sessions and therapist-guided support calls mean you're not doing this alone, because our community is over 1,000 strong. It's seriously one of the most joyful places to be online. If you're interested in High Vibe Honey and you're ready to tap into a life that turns you on, check out highvibehoney.com or follow the link in the description. Oh my God, that was such a great episode, and I really hope it reminded you that you don't have to be perfect to have great habits in your life. Like I said, I am not consistent with my habits, and they still work for me. Anytime you fall off the horse, just don't beat yourself up. That's just another secret way of making yourself feel bad. All you need to do is notice that you've dropped off and pick it up again like it never went wrong in the first place, and you will still see massive success. We've created some really awesome resources for you to help develop your own habits in your own way, in a way that feels good to you, because feeling good is your job and it is the most important thing that you can do. So go to vortexvision.co and you'll get everything immediately. How fun is that? Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next episode.